The Play is the Thing, with your host, Judy Sleed, and today's special guest, a man who's done many things in the theater world, Mr. Tommy DeMaio. And now, my mom, Judy Sleed.
Hello again. I am Judy Sleed, and I have my good friend Tommy DeMaio here, who was gracious enough to adorn the screen with me. It's been a long time, but we made it. How are you, Tommy?
Magnificent. And you, Judy Sleed?
I'm glad to be here again. And I see all these playbills right here because I know that you like plays.
I like them. I produce them, don't I?
Yes. And also you like to talk about them.
Yeah, I like to talk about Broadway. It's a great subject. People love Broadway. And lots of things are happening on Broadway. Yeah.
Even today, after all this...
I went to see a fabulous show last night called... the show is about... it's Marilyn Monroe's movie, Some Like It Hot.
Oh.
They did a musical of it. The previews were Wednesday night. Wednesday night.
Or is that the one with Tova Felcher?
No. I will go with Tova Felcher. There's a show on Broadway which is called Funny Girl.
Yes.
And it opened about a year ago with a nice cast. But it just didn't take off. So they closed the show and they put Lee Michaels in there, or Lee Michelle from Glee, as Fanny Bryce. And as a mother is Tova
Felcher.
And let me tell you, we've seen her at the Bay Street Playhouse doing...
Ruth, becoming Dr. Ruth. She was fantastic.
But she won Tony. She was nominated for Tony Awards for the piano.
Yes.
She's a huge Broadway star. Good. Yes, and she's beautiful. And now she's playing the mother. And she has a beautiful voice, Tova. And she'd probably be nominated if I'm in the position to nominate. She would be
nominated again
for Best Supporting Actress. She's been but she really is. The show now is magnificent. You never know about shows because as a producer, I went to Philadelphia or Boston about 2 months ago, and I saw a play called Everybody Loves Prada. That was a very big hit.
Yes.
The Devil Wears Prada.
The Devil Wears Prada, yeah.
And
I saw the movie.
Yes, and Elton John did the music. It was just, it was a great movie, blah, blah, blah. And when we saw it, went there to see if I should put money in it, blah, 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 blah. It got the worst reviews you've ever read.
Oh,
and they don't realize
shame.
That if you go, there's a restaurant in Broadway that has, you go there and it has all billboards, and it's fabulous, and people don't realize that each one of the billboards were flops. Betty Davis, Arlene Dahl, everybody had a flop.
Everybody.
Angela Lansbury, the biggest stars had flops. So it's just such a wonderful, magnificent, magical life, the theater. But you never know. Even the greatest producers and the greatest stars really don't know until opening night.
A lot goes into producing a show, especially a musical.
Musical is the most expensive thing, but you'll take some shows that's on Broadway right now, Chicago, that has been playing for 22 years or something, with big stars and all. And that show is making the investors millions and millions of dollars. And wherever you go around the world, anywhere, China, anywhere, Tahiti, that show is playing somewhere.
So it's surprising that after all these setbacks that people are still going to see a show.
Well, a
And
friend of
the
mine,
tickets are expensive.
a friend of
aren't
mine
they?
says, Tommy, I need a favor. Could you get something discount, blah, 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 for Lion King? Yes, Lion King. So I said, well, I'll go speak some. The cheapest ticket for the balcony is $199.
What?
One teacher.
And they fill up the house?
They fill up the house. So I told my friends, there are, if you want to sit in the orchestra, it's not the VIP things, they're $450, but the average price for Dallas is just $250, $300 a person.
Wow.
Well, Funny Girl, right now, if you want to get a ticket for the VIP, the orchestra, it runs $500-$600.
I can't imagine how people can afford to do that.
Well, you know,
and
it's-
yet people
let me
still
put it this
coming
way.
from out of town to see a show.
But at Disney World is going, because a friend of mine now has become an executive in Disney World, Rondi, from
Oh.
Vegas.
Yeah.
And she said that people are renting, there's a special hotel, and special thing, it costs us $10,000 for 4 days. So, you
It's
know,
unbelievable.
when you have a kid, that's their vacation for life sometimes.
Right.
I mean, I've been seeing Phantom of the Opera, which closes January 18, after 21 years in New York City. And I've seen that show all over the world. And I've seen it for 31 times in my life. And the reason is I take all my grandchildren, my family. Always, I took somebody there to make sure they always see this show.
And Into the Woods.
Oh, Into the Woods is it's a Steinheim show, and it's a great show.
Is it on Broadway now?
Everything I see is only on Broadway. It's on Broadway right now. Michael Jackson is magnificent. It's on Broadway. He won the Best Actor for the Tony Awards.
Oh, who plays him?
I'm not good at names, you know that. But he is fabulous.
And he was nominated.
Forster. Yes, he was. He won.
He won.
Yes. But we have a lot of things on Broadway. We have Beetlejuice.
The Music Man, that was one of my favorite shows.
And it's so boring. I shouldn't say that. The last 5 minutes of it is fabulous.
So it looks like you're in the theater every night when you're
well, we have
in the
19.
city.
We have 19 new shows coming in this year.
Wow.
I saw 5. Now they're coming up.
And sometimes you go to England, to London,
I'm
to
always in
review
London.
to review a show,
Yes.
and we should call you Mr. Broadway.
No, but I mean, there's a lot of Mr. Broadways. We were at Saturdays the other night. The place was jam packed with beautiful people. New York is totally backed, totally backed. It's just magnificent.
And after seeing a show, they still have places where people go to for dinner and to discuss the show.
Well, 2 nights ago,
Which is the most popular place to go?
Sardi's.
Sardi's, wow.
Well, you've been there 100 times. I've been there 1,000 times.
Yes, it's been there a long time.
It's been there from the early 1900s, maybe
Yes,
1920.
and where else?
Let me see. There's the Rainbow Room, and then we have the Plaza, then we have
Oh,
Cipriani's.
and there's one on the east side that lady used to own that.
We've closed 100 years ago.
Oh,
100 years ago. Yes.
yeah, I went there a lot of times.
What was her name? It was the woman's name, the heavyset woman.
Yes,
What was her name? I don't know. Oh,
it'll come to us.
it was
After the show, after we finish the show, it'll come to us, and then we could.
It always comes to me. But I was out all night last night. I took the jitney here, and woo, I have been busy every night for the last 6 days. It's horrible.
How does this Bay Street Theater compare to the Broadway?
They're doing one of the best jobs in the world. I mean it. They're first class all the way. I mean, fabulous.
Tracy, yeah, I had Tracy on my show.
Wonderful woman. All the
She's
staff is nice. It's,
executive
what's his name? Scott is
director.
wonderful. They're all, and we have some great directors. And we have, what's his name, from Frasier, directing one of the shows. Seinfeld, from Seinfeld. It was, they're really doing a great job. A great job. Well, you had a lot to do with Bay Street at one time. You used to do some of your shows there, or was it Guildhall?
Oh, I used to do my shows in Guildhall, yes,
And
and I'm
then-
planning on doing. I'm waiting for Michael to come back, and somebody suggested I should do my show here at LTV. They have a wonderful room where where they could do a show.
A complete show, or just a talking, or a strict reading?
Well, I want to do it as a regular, not a play reading, but a regular,
Oh, with a cast.
yeah, with a cast.
Well, you did something like that years ago.
Well, I only did
The one we did
play
off
reading.
Broadway. What did we do? You did something off Broadway. What was it?
Oh, that was Georgie Day, the musical.
Right. And were you in it? Because you had that red sequin dress
Yes,
in it.
I was in it, yes.
And Earl was there. Earl Wilson wrote a column about it.
Yes,
And and we had the party at Adele's house.
yeah, and maybe that was for Old Gregory.
As
That
well.
was also a comedy, yes,
And they both were very good. Both of them were very good.
yes. They got good reviews.
Yes, I remember.
Yeah.
It was not well, but you should. And then you did the reading for your life.
At the Jewish Center.
Yeah,
I
no,
did.
the library. You had the reading in the library. You
Yes.
remember when you almost had all the property in Budapest? Budapest.
And right now, a filmmaker is doing my life
documentary.
story. His name is Matthew Eichelman. I forgot. I have trouble remembering his name. He already came to my house twice to
Does he
film
do
me.
documentary?
Well, he's not sure whether he's going to do it as a documentary or he's going to do a movie. And also Christian Arbisu. They are collaborating and they're doing more filming.
Well, the documentaries that they had here for the movies. They had lots of documentaries.
Well, as I said, they have a lot of footage, but they have to get together and decide what treatment to do with it.
Well, what would you like?
Well, I think a movie would be better, but
Well, I was amazed at all the literature and your father's notes, and where'd you maintain them?
well, I still have all the.
I know, but how did you get them? Now, everybody's going to answer that question. I mean, you were 8 years old or something, and you were walking the streets looking for something before they wanted
Well,
to. 'Cause
people
you
sent
lost
it
your
to
mother, your
me.
brother, your father, your uncle.
Yeah.
So you're the survivor. So what was the story that you had letters, pictures of the house, you had everything
Yes.
very well illustrated. So
Yeah,
I
well,
was-
people sent pictures to me and whatever they had.
they had. So your relatives that had these things.
Yes, because I didn't have anything.
Oh, so you really actually these all came from your family, some by people that knew you,
Yes.
and you knew them.
Yes.
So how'd you locate them?
Would you believe that the one person who really kept in touch with me was my piano teacher? She loved me, and she kept.
From Budapest?
Yes,
She's still alive?
I don't think so, but I still have her letters to me, and
So how did she escape?
she was not Jewish.
Oh, she wasn't Jewish.
No.
Well,
Yeah, and I had a girlfriend in English. She called her Mary, but we used to call her Maudie. And she got, yeah, a lot of people contacted me. Somehow they knew where I was. And
Well, you almost had a lot of property in Budapest,
well,
but you didn't know if your father owned it or rented it. If he owned it,
yeah,
you would
my
be entitled to it.
father had a store and a
But-
well-equipped store, and it was all taken from him. So
But did he own it?
yes, he owned the store.
Well, you should have told it to the people that were interviewing
Yes.
you. Because if you owned it, if your father owned it, you'd be entitled to.
Yes,
Some
I
grants.
still have a letter from him. He had his own stationery.
Your father?
Yeah, with his
So why don't you look
name
into
on
it again? Would you look into the problem? Because you are a little, at that time you were very nervous and all, so you didn't know the correct answer because you were confused. But you're not confused anymore. And if you owned it,
I'm more confused than ever.
really? Even when I hypnotize you, you come out like a young woman. No, but you should look into
So
it.
I would like to know about, you still have, you come from Brooklyn. You're a Brooklyn boy, and look how far up you came in the world. Now you have a home.
So did Barbara Streisand. And I can name 10,000 people that come from Brooklyn. They're all very well.
You have a home in Florida and in New York and on Long Island.
And in Vegas.
Oh, Vegas, yes.
Can't
Oh,
forget
those
the House
were
of
the
Vegas,
good old
right?
days. I remember being.
I was there a few weeks ago.
So, would you say you have a favorite?
Yeah, a little apartment in London. That's my favorite place. If I want to run,
Oh,
that's my
in
favorite
London.
place. And I like the Hamptons. I like Bridgehampton. I like New York City. You know me. I like anywhere.
Yes, you
so
like
long as I don't have to pack.
Yes, I remember when you came from one abode to the other. You didn't come with luggage because
Never.
you had everything in every place. You have your own clothes and your toothbrush.
Some of
and
the hotels I
everything.
still go to around. I have a tuxedo, fully cuffless shirt, and blue jeans, a sweatshirt, and a jacket and shoes.
Do you remember that they used to call that soup and fish?
No.
No? Well, there was a song with Perry Como, hand me down my soup and fish, I will get my wish. That's a tuxedo. They used to call
I
it.
never heard it.
You're kidding me. You know everything, and I just came up with something you don't know.
No, I knew it.
You have to write it down on the
I
ceiling.
know it's funny. I never met Perry Como, and I met everybody
You
in the
never
world.
met Perry Como?
But I met 90% of the world. I told somebody the other day, my family not being obnoxious, I met queens and princesses and all that, but I never met a king. But now I met a king because of his shots. I know, for parties and all.
Well, you're,
so now I know a king.
Your hallway is full of photographs with you and all the people you met in the theater and elsewhere.
Yes. And some of my favorite people, you know them. Olivia de Havilland,
Yes.
Maggie Smith, God, Tom Blondell, God, Ruben Mamoulian. Remember Ruben Mamoulian?
Yes.
One of the most greatest directors in the world. And he directed Garbo and did all Garbo's movies. And
Yes.
just so many, God. I know, yeah. It's a
And
wonderful.
very often you forget names.
No, I forget people. Especially the bitches. There's a lot of them. But no, God has been very good.
I'll never forget then the producer of this show, who was that? But anyway, he asked me to name some of the people who I have interviewed, and all of a sudden I couldn't remember one name.
When you're that rich as you are, the rich people don't have to remember names. You have a secretary to help you. So you know every name.
Yes,
See with your
I
secretary.
always
Your
said I
secretary is
need a
fabulous.
secretary.
You have one, but you have one that's wonderful. And I bless him every day. Jeff, he's everything. Secretary, a friend, a son. He's fabulous. And look what he's done for you after. I mean, you know what you said today. I'm not going to go that way. Anyway, it's wonderful to have such a great son that really, really inspires you to go working and work the theater and make sure that your shows are being done and your book is at the play. It might be a play first and then a movie.
Well, I am working on just
It's a character. Are you going to be the star or your brother? Because his name is Tommy. So Tommy's all should be stars. No, but your brother's name was Tommy. And I mean, who is in your mind the most that you think about? Your father, your mother, your brother?
well, right now I'm trying to put together a memoriam about my mother's cousin, who was a big star in Budapest. She was the #1 star. She was
Theater,
very
opera,
famous.
ballet.
Movies. She was a movie star.
She come to America?
She was, yeah, Hollywood beckoned, and then she and her husband came to Hollywood, and they made one movie, and she also spoke several languages because they made the movies were translated into other languages, and she
Yeah,
was
because nobody
able
knew
to,
the stars, all the great stars of America. Lana Turner, but in the world, they heard their language, never the stars' language. So when they met them and they became educated, they were shocked how they talked, which is
Yeah.
unreal. But it's true. I did a show 2 years ago called Indecent. Remember, I did it with Liz McCann.
yes,
And this show won the Pulitzer Prize in 1930 something, and it was done in all around the world except New York. So it came to New York with the original cast, and they in the Yiddish community. That was in 1938, 1938, 39 maybe. And they came, and the show opened, and the following day they burned the show down. Because it was all Yiddish, and there was two girls that danced together, and because they danced together, they burned it down. And unfortunately, they couldn't work anymore because they were Jewish, and it seemed to be very. So they took a boat back to Israel because they couldn't find jobs or anything, and they all were executed. True story. And our show closed too. It wasn't. It should have been successful, but people just didn't want that kind of knowledge. But it was sad,
well,
but beautiful show.
I just wanted to say that my mother's cousin's name, the actress, her name was Aga Irene.
Well, she has to be in things that you could
Yeah,
find.
you could Google her. It comes up, and she was on every magazine.
Because Hedy Lamarr was in that somewhere in Europe.
Hedy Lamarr was
And,
also an
Ingrid
inventor.
Bergman was in that era.
Yes.
And Audrey Hepburn. Audrey Hepburn was, I think, in the concentration camp, or she was very thin and she had no food and all. I think she was in the concentration camp towards the
So
end.
I have that. That's what I'm working on, and I'm going to. I have a lot of her films, and I'm going to take excerpts.
Where'd you get that? Where'd you get that?
Well, they had a Hungarian film company that I used to purchase. It's no longer there, but I have about 5 or 6 of her films. And
But would you be known in America? Would you be known in America?
No. I mean, even though her husband was an award-winning director, most of her films he directed.
But in
And after-
America?
Yeah, and and she died when she was young, and he just kept directing films
In America or
in America and in Mexico.
what's his
and
name?
Stephen Seke. Well, he kept changing the name because
the
it
Jewish-
didn't. No, because it didn't. In Hungarian, it was Seke István, and István is Stephen, and Seke, it ends with ly. So they just kept changing it so it's easier to. But I looked it up, and he did a lot of horror films.
Was it have children?
No,
They didn't have children.
no. So that's what I'm working on, and
It's a great project.
yeah,
But you should still work out on your plays. Your plays are magnificent.
yes. Well, maybe you will. You will get partners with me, and you will get involved in this play that I'm gonna put here. Do
Well, you
it
know,
here in
I'm,
LTV.
I'm starting. I might start something that's about the Gabors because I still own the title because of what's
Yeah,
her
I
name?
read the book.
yeah.
Yes.
So I knew the Gabors, but the woman that published it was Roz Cole, and the person that wrote it is my dear enemy.
Cindy.
Don't mention their name, but I still own the rights to it. So, and the reason why we didn't do it 25 years ago, because Zsa Zsa wanted to star in it, and Jimmy Nealon says, no, we want nothing to do with the Gabors except play the play, but she can't have any. And with that, there was so much problems that.
Well,
it
we're
didn't work.
gonna have to do a play where you could be the star.
I don't want to be a star. I want to be a friend. Everybody's nice.
So I want to thank you again for coming and chatting with me.
I always love to chat with you.
Yes, and you have to come back because you are a most interesting person.
I'm waiting for your documentary. It should be fabulous.
The documentary, yes, it should be.
Because the one at the library was inspiring.
Yeah, you were there.
I certainly was. And I gave you a look. If I could have killed you, I would have killed you. I says, shut your mouth. And you opened it again. And sometimes you open it the wrong place. And that's the second time.
Okay, so we are all done with this. I think the camera stopped rolling.
That's a disgrace. I